The National News Desk, locally covered, nationally connected. Strikes against suspected narco-terrorist boats continue. Inside the latest lethal action and what the president says about using the military against more than just trafficking vessels.
This is the most complex airspace in the world. I can't underscore that enough.
Plus, an eye-opening congressional report released criticizing the military's role in the deadly mid-air plane crash near the nation's capital nearly a year ago. The series of missteps and how it could have been prevented. Plus, a major shift in vaccination policy, how the CDC plans to make their new recommendations based on individual needs. Good evening. I'm Taylor Murray. Welcome to the National News Desk, America's News Now. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Bristol Township in Pennsylvania. A gas explosion at a nursing home has left residents there trapped inside. Right now, we do not know how many people are unaccounted for, injured, or if there are any fatalities. The cause of the explosion is also unknown. This is a developing story. More breaking news now. A Delaware state trooper has been shot and killed. This happened during an active shooter situation at a DMV facility in Newcastle. The suspect is also dead. State police say they are assessing additional injuries but did not provide numbers or conditions of those injured. And of course, stay with us as we continue to track latest developments on both of these breaking stories throughout the night. We'll have coverage for you both here on air and online at thenationaldesk.com. The White House is ramping up military action off the coast of Venezuela. President Trump once again suggesting yesterday that attacks on Venezuelan soil could be coming soon. And Venezuela is not the only country in the region that the president has his eye on. Meanwhile, lawmakers are raising concerns about the president's evolving strategy. Here's National News Desk Christine Frizzell.
Another deadly attack at sea, once again on a vessel, quote, engaged in narco-trafficking operations. The tactic, now a familiar one, with 29 known attacks resulting in the deaths of at least 105 people since early September, who President Trump and his supporters call narco-terrorists.
I applaud President Trump of trying to bring down this narco-terrorist state in Venezuela run by Maduro.
Threats to remove Nicolas Maduro from power appear to be a major part of President Trump's evolving strategy.
We have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had, and by far the biggest we've ever had in South America. He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough.
In the past 2 weeks, at least 2 oil tankers coming from Venezuela have been seized by the United States.
What are we going to do with the oil that we have?
We're going to keep it.
We've moved from attacking boats that were reportedly carrying drugs to now taking oil tankers. And at the end of the day, what you're seeing is it's about enriching Trump and his friends. They've already talked to companies about taking this oil.
Other critics worried the major pivot is akin to turning away from more pressing national security threats.
China is the major national security threat to the United States of America, and by assembling this huge armada, as Trump describes it, he's taking pressure off China, which makes it more likely they'll start a war.
President Trump's former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is now weighing in, suggesting the United States also help build back Venezuela's economy, to include allowing American oil companies to play a far more prominent role in the region. Didi?
Well, the Education Department has opened an investigation into Brown University after the deadly campus mass shooting earlier this month. Under review is Brown's security and whether it properly alerted those on campus to the ongoing danger. Questions arose soon after the shooting, due in part to lack of quality security footage and the suspect's ability to leave campus without immediately being apprehended. Now, Brown has defended its security and response and says they are conducting an internal review. In the meantime, the university president has placed campus police chief Rodney Chapman on administrative leave effective immediately. Moving forward, the school is also commissioning an external after-action review of the shooting. This includes an evaluation of campus safety leading up to it. Well, House Oversight Chairman James Comer says he is expanding his investigation into the widespread fraud uncovered in Minnesota government programs just last week. 6 more defendants were charged in a growing fraud campaign linked to 14 separate state programs that could exceed $9 billion. At least 92 people have been charged in all. Chairman Comer told Fox News that state whistleblowers knew of these claims for years.
These state employees also allege that they had warned both Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison for years that this fraud was occurring, and yet nothing was taking place.
Governor Tim Walz says he believes the extent of the money misspent is exaggerated by the Trump administration, but he will get to the bottom of the fraud scandal, he says. Meanwhile, 98 Minnesota mayors have signed on to a letter to Governor Walz and state lawmakers citing deep concern about the fiscal direction of the state. They say an $18 billion state surplus has vanished in just 2 years, and now they are facing a $3 billion deficit as early as 2028. The Department of Justice is publishing another batch of files related to Jeffrey Epstein this morning, 4 days after the legally mandated deadline. Now, the new documents mention then private citizen Donald Trump several times. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar reports on this and how the Trump administration is responding.
2 days before Christmas, the Department of Justice releasing another 30,000 pages of files related to Jeffrey Epstein. It included this alleged 2019 letter from Epstein to convicted sex offender and disgraced former USA Gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar that suggested Donald Trump sexually assaulted girls. Hours after its release, the DOJ announced the FBI determined the letter is fake, noting the handwriting did not match Epstein's and the postmark location was not where he was incarcerated. This January 2020 email from an assistant U.S. attorney says in the 90s, Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously has been reported or that we were aware, including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case, referring to convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell. Trump has not been accused by authorities of criminal wrongdoing related to Epstein. The DOJ saying Tuesday, some of these documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they had a shred of credibility, they certainly would have been weaponized against President Trump already. Here was President Trump Monday.
What this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has.
Here on Capitol Hill, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer plans to force a vote on a measure that would bring legal action against the DOJ for not releasing the full files on time in accordance with the law. Schumer also wants the DOJ's redactions to be reviewed to determine whether they censored more than legally necessary to protect victims. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar for the National News Desk, America's News Now.
101 illegal alien truck drivers in California have been arrested. Today, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced it completed Operation Highway Sentinel. The agency said the state of California gave thousands of commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens who went on to cause fatal accidents in multiple states. Those arrested are in ICE custody pending immigration proceedings. Well, at least 5 people are dead after a Mexican Navy plane crashed on a medical mission in Texas. Officials say 8 people, both Navy officers and civilians, were aboard the plane yesterday when it went down in the Galveston Bay en route to a local hospital. And Mexico's Navy says search operations are underway for one missing person. An investigation is ongoing to determine the cause. We are learning more details about the mid-air collision last January between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and commercial jet near the nation's capital that killed 67 people. Look at this. A newly released congressional report is critical of the actions of the military pilots and lists 5 issues that may have contributed to the crash, including communication issues between the Black Hawk and air traffic control, night vision goggles that may have limited their vision and depth perception, and the helicopter's navigation device that's meant to provide their location to other aircrafts was turned off. A D.C. area radio host, licensed pilot, and also safety investigator says this deadly disaster was avoidable.
The fact that the helicopter pilots had the technology that could have avoided this collision and instead the equipment was turned off is stunning. You have to have a real understanding, especially in this airspace, of every intersection, of every altitude change. You have to know this like you know the back of your hand. If you don't, you shouldn't be flying in it.
The report also accuses the Army of lacking specific knowledge about navigating Reagan National's airspace. Since the crash, the Pentagon has made changes, including limiting flights in the airspace and requiring the navigation system to be turned on during training missions. Coming up, third quarter economic growth beats expectations. What the White House says about the analyst who made the inaccurate predictions. Then the first GLP-1 weight loss pill is coming soon. How much it could cost and when it'll be available. Plus, the card skimmer schemes letting criminals steal from unsuspecting Americans across the country. We'll be right back. The United States economy beat expectations, growing a robust 4.3% in the 2025 third quarter of July to September. The director of the White House National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, called out Wall Street experts and says they need to adjust how they view the policies that are leading towards economic growth.
We went back and we looked at every Bloomberg forecast for the main numbers since September and found that on average we outperformed the forecast 94% of the time. So if 94% of Wall Street economists are getting the macro trends wrong, they need to start to think about, hey, maybe Trump's policies are actually way better than we thought.
Hassett also said that third quarter inflation slowed down to an increase of just 1.6%, lower than the Federal Reserve's target of 2%. And more numbers from the latest GDP report that was delayed due to the 6-week government shutdown, of course, show consumer spending expanded by 3.5% in the third quarter, a full point more than in the second quarter. And more recently, during the holiday shopping season, Visa is reporting that spending from November 1st through this past Sunday was up 4.2%. Visa says these numbers are in line with their predictions and expect Americans to spend just over $1 trillion this holiday season. But despite the improving numbers, consumer confidence has fallen for the 5th straight month, and it's to its lowest number since April. This is according to the latest survey from the Conference Board. Consumers across all income levels are also expressed more concern about the state labor market. Still, of those surveyed, a growing number from the last report did not think a recession was likely next year. President Trump unveiled a new Trump class of Navy battleships Monday, describing them as superior war-fighting vessels that will replace an outdated fleet. The president making the announcement from Mar-a-Lago alongside multiple cabinet members. The ships will form part of a, quote, golden fleet meant to better counter China and other U.S. adversaries. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, has all the details.
President Trump says this new fleet of ships will help maintain American military supremacy, revive the American shipbuilding industry, while also inciting fear in America's enemies. Trump saying to start, the Navy will build 2 of the Trump-class ships, but dozens more could quickly follow. From Mar-a-Lago Monday, President Trump announcing a new Trump class of Navy battleships, describing them as superior warfighting vessels that will replace an outdated fleet.
These are the best in the world. They'll be the fastest, the biggest, and by far 100 times more powerful than any battleship ever built.
Trump saying each will weigh between 30 and 40,000 tons, built in the U.S., very AI-controlled, equipped with guns, missiles, hypersonic weapons, and sophisticated lasers. The Navy starting with 2, but will be quickly followed by 8 more, ultimately with 20 to 25 total.
They'll help maintain American military supremacy, revive the American shipbuilding industry, and inspire fear in America's enemies all over the world.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Navy Secretary John Phelan speaking Monday as well, both touting the new fleet as a game changer, not only for the Navy, but for the entire country.
Anything that flows from our country and with our allies flows freely and uncontested. New and better ships will provide that deterrent today and for generations to come.
The future Trump-class battleship, the USS Defiant, will be the largest, deadliest, and most versatile and best-looking warship anywhere on the world's oceans.
The announcement Monday coming amid a massive U.S. naval buildup in the Caribbean Sea, as Trump continues to apply pressure on Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro following allegations of narco-terrorism, theft of U.S. assets, and the illegal retention of Venezuelan power.
Whatever he wants to do, if he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough.
Now, the move also coming shortly after the Coast Guard announced it's pursuing a 3rd oil tanker near Venezuela, a dark fleet vessel that's part of Venezuela's illegal sanctions evasion. Trump recently declaring a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned tankers.
We have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had, and by far the biggest we've ever had in South America.
Now, our research are finding in 2025, Venezuela produced between 900,000 and 1 million barrels of oil each and every day. This move by the United States, along with its naval buildup in the Caribbean, could greatly impact Venezuela's oil revenue, including to its largest buyer, China. I'm Jeff Harris reporting from Washington.
Well, U.S. vaccine policy is undergoing a major shift with a focus on science, transparency, and child safety. The newly appointed chair of the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee, Dr. Kirk Malone, said the committee is examining the risk not only of diseases but also of preventative treatments like vaccines. He said this is individualized to each patient.
Our concern is that our recommendations were being used as mandates. And that is, this one-size-fits-all was being used to put people at risk who had really no risk from a disease. And so that is where you see the change in our attitude. It's really trying to bring back the balance to doctor-patient relationship and what is best for the patient.
As part of this shift away from a one-size-fits-all approach, the committee voted to end the universal hepatitis B shot for newborns. Well, the blockbuster weight loss drug Wegovy will now come in a pill form. The FDA just approved the first pill for a GLP-1 drug used for weight loss. Most popular weight loss drugs come in injectables, but Wegovy's drug maker Novo Nordisk said it plans to sell the lowest dose for $149 a month for those paying out of pocket. The company said the pill will be available within weeks. Churches, synagogues, and mosques across the U.S. are assessing what safety looks like after a wave of deadly attacks has pushed faith communities to adopt security strategies that just a decade ago would have been unthinkable. Our fact-check team breaks down what kind of precautions are becoming commonplace to keep congregants safe.
Religious institutions across America are on edge after countless acts of violence have made headlines the last 6 months. Data shows gun-related incidents at places of worship have more than doubled year over year. Let's go to Emma Withrow from the Fact Check team. At this point, are religious institutions taking a precautionary approach?
Definitely. It's gotten to the point where they just can't keep ignoring this. So the Washington Post actually reported that churches and synagogues are installing bulletproof window film, reinforcing doors, adding, all these different things to try to stop potential vehicle attacks, and then also upgrading surveillance, and in some cases even placing ballistic material in pulpits to shield pastors. The Christian Broadcasting Network reported that members of a church in Arkansas actually gathered for the Feast of Tabernacles, while 2 Vietnam veterans patrolled outside just to make sure that, nothing was to come into the church.
So clearly actions being taken to the structures themselves. What about training? Are congregations, are they being taught how to handle an active shooter or even other threats?
Yeah, that's become one of the more common ways to defend themselves. So according to CBN, the U.S. Concealed Carry Association's actually held more than 600 protecting your house of worship events since May. They've trained over 12,000 participants in threat assessment, active shooter response, and even emergency medical care. Plus, the DHS handed out $110 million to support, 600 faith-based organizations to install cameras, alarms, staff training programs. Also, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he also directed law enforcement to increase their presence at religious venues and identify and stop threats earlier than before you get to the point where it's too late.
All right, Emma, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For more on this Fact Check Team topic, including links to Emma's sources, scan the QR code or visit thenationaldesk.com.
Amazon says it's blocked hundreds of job applications from suspected North Korean operatives. The chief security officer said the suspects used fake or stolen IDs to apply for remote IT jobs with the goal of funneling money into North Korea's weapons programs. He said Amazon's AI-based screening system plus manual verification by employees found the fraud. Well, in 22 states, Uber can hire drivers who committed crimes like assault and child abuse as long as they were convicted at least 7 years ago. That's according to a New York Times investigation that found the rideshare company does this to try to hire quickly and also limit cost. An Uber representative said the 7-year time frame balances protecting passengers and giving people with criminal records a chance to work. Coming up, home for the holidays. A chance discovery at a Kentucky thrift store has reunited a family with a long-lost piece of its history. After the break. We have reporters all across the country in your neighborhoods covering issues that matter to you. We are taking the pulse of America, and we start in New York, where a woman is facing charges after police say she hosted a large underage drinking party that left a teen hospitalized.
Neighbors confirmed the underage party happened here on Redwood Drive in Penfield on Halloween night, although the Monroe County Sheriff's Office would not provide the exact address. Deputies were called to a home for reports of a 17-year-old boy who had hit his head in a fall and was unconscious after drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana.
Some serious medical conditions. Ambulance was there, treated him, transported him to the hospital.
Captain Matthew Kreiser of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office says the teen's blood alcohol level was 5 times the legal limit. Medina Bajelic was charged with reckless endangerment, endangering the welfare of a child, and unlawful dealing with a child. Authorities say she discouraged at least one teen from calling for help for the teen victim.
It could have been deadly. He could have easily died that night. We could be talking about a completely different investigation.
Cops call this kind of crime ATM jackpotting, where criminals use malware like card skimmers to steal millions from unsuspecting Americans.
Be mindful and be aware of your surroundings, and obviously the terminals that you're visiting. Make sure that you are paying attention to any bulky terminals, miscolored.
Detectives searched 100 different stores throughout the county, and not just gas pumps or ATMs inside. They're also checking the machines at the register. In all, they found 20 skimmers from 7-Elevens to grocery stores.
It's a picture-perfect homecoming for Nancy Bookman, receiving a collage of photos of her mother as a baby from the 1930s. But getting this piece of family history only happened by chance. Robin Claney was shopping at the Diocesan Catholic Children's Home flea market in Fort Mitchell when she stumbled upon it.
You could tell there was a lot of effort put into this photo, the way it's matted, the way it's photographed, and I thought this has to be a mistake.
Working at a library for most of her career, Claney knew how to research. When she saw the name Mary Joan Engberson inscribed on the back, she tracked down Bookman via an ancestry website.
I reached out to Nancy randomly on Thanksgiving night.
I got the message when I woke up in the morning, and at first I thought it was spam.
But instead, Claney gave her a Christmas miracle.
This is so special. Thank you for making the effort.
Oh, yeah.
I love that story. All right, coming up, it looks like humans aren't the only ones getting gifts this holiday season. We show you the animals abroad joining in on the festive fun. Some super cute animals, I might add, are getting a head start opening presents for the holidays. Look at them. This is a cute elephant calf at England's Whipsnade Zoo getting a tasty Christmas treat, a wreath made of willow and conifer. And these beautiful links here that you're seeing, Amber and Ruby are their names, also got a surprise gift in their habitat, Christmas crackers. Zookeepers say they were made to stimulate the animals' curiosity and sense of smell. Happy holidays to them. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor Murray.